What you doing on summer break?
Summer break.
Summer break.
My boy got married. I got married to my beautiful wife, Miranda Williams.
Play golf. Moved them a new house.
Become a dad.
We had a good trip to Idaho with the boys.
Went to Idaho with some of my best friends.
Idaho with the boys.
Got right.
Went to Mexico.
Just sat by the beach and relaxed. Jersey Shore.
Taught Elijah Moore how to go surfing. Good time. Get right, work out. Click.
As many people already know I did.
Like work.
I work.
Grind mode. That's all I did. You know, watch film, ate healthy, worked out, prep myself for the season. Go Jets.
Here we go. Training day 2 officially has completed.
You know that I got the mother sauce. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you had a loss? I'm so versatile, I'm a renaissance man.
Congratulations, brother. Hey.
Before I jumped on, I wanted to make sure I got to watch all of the press conferences and kind of get as much tape as possible as to how things went down today. And there's a lot of good things out there we can go ahead and talk about today. Obviously, the major thing is that the defensive line today had a game. They did. Yesterday, the offense showed off. Today, the defensive line showed off. Apparently, Zach Wilson getting pushed out of the pocket numerous times, getting numerous sacks. But before I get into that, I don't know if y'all got a chance to see the Carl Lawson interview yesterday after the end of practice. I hadn't seen it before I did the video, so I told myself today I was going to watch every press conference before I did the video to make sure I had as much information to share with you guys. But Carl Lawson had a really good video, and he said things like this. Take a look at this.
Good day.
Do you have any moments, last night or this morning, thinking about the road to get here from last year?
No.
No big picture thoughts, just go.
Yeah.
What was the last year like for you? Obviously, we all saw what you were doing in practice last year, and then to kind of have it come to that abrupt end. Did you have any moments where you had to take yourself back and then build it back up? I mean, what was just the process like?
Oh, it was horrible, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you grow stronger from it, but I mean, of course, it was tough. It was ridiculously tough, but I knew I was going to come out on top, and I mean, kind of build a callus of things. You just keep working and keep the process, and just thinking about it, like some of the greatest people in history have suffered. So I mean, and overcome. So it's kind of the people who just don't overcome, that don't, get the results they want. So that's kind of how I think about it.
When was the time when you felt, okay, I'm Carl Lawson again, I'm back?
I don't know. Like, I've always been me. There's never. I don't know. I can't really answer. I don't really know the answer to that.
I meant physically.
Physically,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just different. I mean, like I was working maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm fast. But I don't know. I didn't really put because it wasn't. There was never a point where I was like, hey, I want to get back to myself. It was always, I want to be better than what I was. So I never really put a timeline on when I was gonna be back to where I was previously. I wanted to work to be better, So I never thought about it like that. But the body's been healed. It's all a mind thing. Being through injuries before, you actually come back physically better than what you were. But I mean, we live in a society today where everybody's like social media, and it's like, how's this guy gonna return? So a lot of players themselves, they I don't know if I'm gonna be the same. I don't know if I'm gonna be this, that, and the third. It's more mental than physical. 'Cause, I mean, it's almost like, touching your hand like a hot stove. You burn you're not gonna go next to that stove again. You tear your Achilles in practice, mentally it's like, do I go back in there? Do I play football again? And fortunately, by the grace of God, I don't have that in me. I'm kind of the opposite. I need to not touch the stove. I keep touching it. So it's kind of, yeah, but the body heals before the mind does. So.
I think that says a lot about his character, right? But I think what that says even more so about is that the leadership piece we keep talking about when it comes to the New York Jets. Have y'all seen Robert Sala's press conferences? Have y'all seen Joe Douglas's press conferences? These guys are consummate professionals, constantly. They don't even know any other way of existing or being. And you see those guys whenever they're speaking to the media, how calm, collected, like they're in control of the environment. You see that a lot with a lot of the individuals right now we're seeing get up on stage, right? The energy is different. There's excitement. There's a professionalism aspect that speaks to the intellect of this team. It speaks to the character of this team, just the way how these guys carry themselves when addressing the media. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sucker for it being in the military. I love that clean, you know what I'm saying, intellectual slash approach when it comes to aspects. And I can appreciate that, seeing that it's not just from, our general manager or from our head coach, but you see it all the way down. You see it with the assistant coaches, the players, they just carry themselves differently. But Carl Lawson said some things, man, that I think should really, really be eye opening for us. Now, one of the things a lot of us were concerned about was how was he going to come back from this injury. And one of the things that he stated in that press conference that really kind of like really hit home for me was that he stated to him it wasn't about trying to get back to where he was. To him, he never even thought about that. He was thinking about how he can get better than before he got hurt. So even when this man was rehabbing and going through the process of the injury, he was already thinking, okay, great, my body's going to come back stronger than it was before. When you injure something, obviously it calluses up, it strengthens up. There's more protection around that injury. The body's trying to protect itself. He knew mentally he had to be in the right scope of mind, and he was already thinking, how do I come back better than I was before the injury? That speaks volumes as to his approach to this offseason and to his training regimen. And now, with the Jets being a team that deals with injuries quite a bit, you're going to sit there and tell me you don't believe that his thought process and his mentality wasn't shared with the other individuals that were dealing with injuries? You don't think Carl Lawson made a couple of phone calls, did some mentorship to kind of make sure those guys knew exactly what they had to do to get better than they were when they got injured? I saw that. I missed it yesterday, but I saw it today, and I definitely wanted to share that with you guys. So I hope you guys appreciated that. If you haven't seen the whole thing, jump on the New York Jets social media accounts, and you can see the Carl Lawson video. Now, a lot of you guys might not know this. I know I jump on Facebook and I follow the New York Jets live on Facebook, and I see all their live press conferences. They also will do like they'll show you guys like inside of training camp. So while a lot of people are still trying to figure out how training camp went, I was just watching them pretty much live all day, and got a couple of sneak peeks to some of the stuff we've been talking about. But let's start with the defensive line. So today, first and foremost, stop freaking out. George Fant didn't play. It's not about contract extension. It's not about him being injured. They're slowly trying to bring him back into the fold. They don't want to go ahead and re-aggravate anything for an unnecessary reason. They're working him back slowly. This is our left tackle right now for the Jets. We don't need him coming back too quickly. When right now we're just going through the motions of implementing the playbook, making sure those rookies get some reps. And needless to say, the left side of the of the offensive line wasn't at its strongest. On top of that, we heard that there were some issues with Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton apparently throughout today was struggling. At least that's what Rich Samini stated. However, when you watch if once you get a chance to watch some of the tape and some of the video of these guys doing practice today, he pulled through. Like, yes, did he get gassed? Yes. He needs to get into football shape. He's in great shape. He's in great shape. He's not injured. But it's still he's going up against freaking grown men now, right? This isn't just him in the gym doing some stuff. Like, he's got to get back into football shape. And Robert Saleh alluded to this in his press conference as well. He wasn't concerned about him needing a couple of breathers and whatnot. He was gassed. The thing that matters the most is that, the big ticket, he pushed through. He pushed through and he got through the entire practice. He didn't stop. He didn't go ahead and pull himself out. Even as he was gassed, he pushed through the entire process. And that's just good on him building on his stamina. So I know we're going to hear how well the defensive line did. And the concerns obviously mean, oh my God, how did the offensive line do? George Fant wasn't playing. Mekhi Becton hasn't played football in over almost a year now. So we're just trying to make sure he gets acclimated to the process. So relax. It's going to be okay. Mekhi Becton himself even admitted that, of course, Rich Samini would post, about how he was gassed and how he was, trying to go ahead and stay in the game. And when he took breaks, he took a knee to go ahead and rest. But he didn't put out there that, yeah, he finished the entire practice. But it's all good because Coach Saleh did touch on that during his press conference. So don't worry about that. You're going to see it in Twitter. Don't worry about that. Now, what about the offensive line struggles against the defensive line? Again, don't worry about that. We have a really talented defensive line. A really, really talented defensive line. So it's going to happen throughout training camp, especially as these guys, they also know the playbook. They know the tendencies of these guys. You're going to see that these guys can get home more often than not. In fact, I would expect the defensive line can get into the backfield more so than not during the offseason, during training. But in this particular situation, there's no pads on, guys. When there's no pads on, then the defense is going to have the edge because there's nothing to hold on to when engaging a defensive player in a block. So the offensive line right now is purely going off of handwork and footwork. Those guys can pretty much grab, use their momentum against them and whatnot to go ahead and get into the backfield. The offensive linemen have nothing to grab onto. You got to grab those shoulder pads, get underneath them to go ahead and make sure you engage them in those sets, and they can't do that. So relax, right? The defensive line not only had an advantage today based off of not having pads on, it's also a very talented group of individuals. Very talented. Now, what's cool about that is it gave Zach Wilson the opportunity to go ahead and get into some of his improvisation aspects. Again, going back to Coach Salah's press conference, he broke down how the rhythm, once the rhythm of the timing of the play is disturbed, is broken, there is no play for being pushed out of the pocket, right? Once the timing is impacted of an offensive play, i.e., play one, there isn't a play two or play three when you're having to improvise on the back end. He alluded to the fact that guys like Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, they're good at what they do because once that pocket collapses or defenders get into the backfield, they can run around a little bit and improvise and find the open player. Their ability to go ahead and play off script. Zach Wilson can play off script. So today, believe it or not, this was good for Zach Wilson to face this kind of pressure. Because the one thing I will say is he didn't panic. Zach Wilson did not panic. Granted, yes, it's not live bullets flying his way. He doesn't have to worry because he knows his guys aren't going to hit him. But it was his ability to keep processing even when he was running around the backfield trying to find the open man. Now, there's not specific plays obviously identified when you have to get into improvisation mode, but there are obviously ways for you to go ahead and get the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs on the same page. And the running back or the quarterback has to run out of the pocket. If he's running right, then boom. Obviously, players should be shifting right, to go ahead and get over. If he's running left, then boom, they should shift left. So the entire concept of it being a bad day for the offense, granted, it was. Not really. It's good for us to see Zach Wilson in these situations now because we're only going to see him get better and better throughout the offseason. If you can deal with our defensive ends and defensive linemen getting to him, we're not going to be facing high quality individuals week in and week out in terms of the defensive line play. And oh, by the way, we're going to have, big ticket in better shape, in football shape for the season. We're going to have George Fenn on the left side as well. We're going to have a complement of our offensive line actually available. A lot of variables in today's practice, but the defense definitely won it. I will say some of the bright spots on the offensive side comes into Breece Hall. Apparently, Breece Hall balled out today, right? Making some catch out of the backfield, showing his ability to be explosive. We're talking about one-handed catches in the backfield. And him, apparently, there was one play where he juked out a defender and whatnot. Nice little freaking, I think it was a cut to the outside. And boom, burst of speed. You saw his explosiveness. You saw his cutting ability, his hands. You saw a plethora of his skill sets displayed today, even though the offense wasn't clicking on all cylinders. And that is an amazing thing to hear, right? Because this was a guy that Joe Douglas wanted to get in the first round this year. Wound up getting him early in the second round. He was trying to trade back into the first to pick up Breece Hall. So in essence, another first round talent in the Jets mindset. And yet now they're putting him in there. And again, Michael Carter is an incredible back. Like I really believe Michael Carter is a G. Breece Hall is special. Breece Hall is special. And being able to see him do this kind of stuff now, especially when you're talking about the defensive lineman getting into the backfield and our quarterback needing an outlet, Breece Hall is already showing bright and early that he can be that guy. He can be that dude. So Joe Flacco to Garrett Wilson connection. Beautiful pass today. Beautiful catch today. Displaying all of the skill sets of a Garrett Wilson. His body control is just so insane that to see it displayed live when a ball's being thrown his way, it's just you really can't you can't teach that. You can't teach that, you can't train that. Those are things that you either can do it or you can't. And we were able to go ahead and see him express that beautifully today in terms of catching the ball that was thrown by Joe Flacco. So seeing Garrett Wilson, again, getting comfortable in the offense, making those kind of catches. Again, a beautiful throw by Joe Flacco as well. I feel like I should mention that. Had some beautiful touch on it. It was placed right where it needed to be, right over the hands of an outstretched defender. Beautiful pass, beautiful catch. Very good to see because Garrett Wilson is getting comfortable and getting his legs underneath him in those offensive sets. So Breece Hall, bright spot. We had Garrett Wilson, bright spot. Overall today, man, like the team is gelling, right? Like I think today defense definitely won it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But it's not a bad thing for the offense to get these kind of days under their wing, because it's only going to help them build experience. It's a very young roster, and to have two of our draft picks this year already showing signs of efficiency, playmaking ability, and just overall freak athleticism that we haven't seen on the roster in quite some time is a bright spot. Very big bright spot. But stop freaking out. Relax. It's training day 2. Training day 2, right? Training camp day 2. I keep thinking about the training camp day 2, right? And it's over now. I really, really recommend that you guys watch a lot of these press conferences. They're a joy to watch. They also kind of speaks to the mentality of the players, as well as the mentality of the coaching staff. And I think that is going to give us as Jets fans uh, a better mindset, a better shared mindset as to where the team is at and where they're trying to go. In fact, Michael Carter's did an interview today, man, and it really kind of resonated with me. First of all, funny dude asking the asking the reporters the question himself, but I digress. In his press conference, man, he kind of broke down the importance of consistency. He broke down that as a player, one of the things he worked on this summer was his ability to be consistent, right? Understanding that he compared himself, not compared himself to, but he compared the vision he has for himself to what Curtis Martin did for the Jets when he was in the green and white. And I love that, man. He's taking a historical player in on this team, one of our Hall of Famers on this team, and he's looking at him and saying, you know what? I want to do what this guy has done. And he talked about how he was a very consistent running back for the New York Jets. You know what I'm saying? From day in, week in, months in, seasons in, like he really broke it down. And I'm just paraphrasing what he said. But the fact that he related that and said that at the end of the day, he needs to be more consistent if he wants to go ahead and ever achieve the level of a Curtis Martin. He's done his homework. He knows what he wants for himself, and he knows the direction he wants to go in. And consistency, as I stated before in some of my other videos, is going to be a key factor for the New York Jets this year to see what these guys are really about. So if you haven't seen the Michael Carter interview, I highly recommend you get a chance to see that, because it's just motivating stuff, man. CJ Uzoma also had a pretty awesome press conference today. He was asked about the shirt he wore when he first checked into training camp. And again, they're having fun, man. They're just having fun with it. I love how CJ Uzoma, a veteran presence on this team, a leader on this team, called his quarterback. He called his quarterback and said, look, man, I'm not trying to make a thing out of it, but hey, at the end of the day, it was funny. It is what it is. Are you cool with me wearing this shirt? That shows a level of respect and understanding across the board with the entire roster, because he doesn't have to do that. He could have worn whatever he wanted to go into training camp. And yet he chose to go ahead and wear that shirt only after speaking to Zach Wilson. Man, I love it. I love it because, again, it shows continuity. Rapport has been built. These guys are all on the same page, and they're not afraid to communicate with one another. Overall, it was an exciting training day. It was an exciting day to training camp day 2, right? We saw the defense eat this time. Yesterday, the offense ate. Tomorrow, maybe it's a better balance, right? We'll see. Maybe special team shows out tomorrow. Who knows, right? Ultimately, these guys don't put on pads until Monday. We're going to start seeing some more physical football next week. George Fant, again, is not holding out because of his contract. He's not injured or whatnot. They're just taking it slow with him to make sure when he gets into the game and when he gets into practice, that they're not going to re-aggravate anything and that he's ready to go. Mekhi Becton, relax. Stop freaking out about that. The guy is not in football shape. Yo, football is a very, very intense sport. It's an intense sport, man. You're always going. Stamina is important. This is a big guy moving at 1,000 miles a minute, right? Trying to go ahead and impose himself, his will, onto other grown men trying to do the same to him. And now he's doing so without the leverage of being able to, get his hands under some shoulder pads to go ahead and use his strength, right? To go ahead and get these guys off balance and off leverage. It's okay. He had a rough day today, but at the end of the day, he got through the entire practice. And that is invaluable. So again, guys, this is exciting times. It's a great time to be a Jets fan. Football is freaking back, and I can't express just how much fun like my days have been since yesterday, right? Like football is back, and it's only going to keep getting better. So don't forget to like and subscribe this video. As always, go Jets. I guess I'll see you guys again tomorrow. You know what? And real quick, shout out to you content creators, man, that can do this every single day, because I literally have to carve out time between, work, the kids, the family, and whatnot to find these moments to do these videos. Then I got to edit it, right? And it takes me a couple of hours to go ahead and get it all done, processed, uploaded to YouTube. And that's if there's no hiccups in my software or my computer or whatever the case might be. But anyway, shout out to you guys doing this stuff every day, man. But again, it's good to be a part of the content creating family. And yeah, go Jets. If you're a subscriber and you're interested in fantasy football, I have officially activated the New York Jets Sit Rep Fantasy Football League, right? So it's only to my subscribers. If you're not a subscriber and you happen to get into the league, I'm gonna go ahead and match you up with subscribers in the league on my channel. And if you're not, I gotta let you go. So if you want to be a part of that and you're subscribed, follow me on Twitter. The link to join is on Twitter right now. It's live. I've already got 3 spots filled to include myself. There's 7 spots left. And wait, is that right? There's 9 spots left. I'm doing horrible math right now. There's 9 spots left. First place is going to be getting a autographed helmet an autographed helmet or an autographed football. Second place is going to be getting themselves an autographed mini helmet. So, if you're interested in that and you're a subscriber and you love fantasy football, I highly recommend you subscribe here. You go on Twitter, you follow me there, and then the link is waiting for you on Twitter on my most recent posts today. I'm probably going to pin that to the top of my Twitter account so it's easier for you to see it. So follow me here, follow me on Twitter. It'll be the pinned tweet. It's going to be first come, first serve. It's free for you as a subscriber. It's my thank you to you for being a subscriber. We get to play some fantasy football throughout the season. Yeah, and the champion gets some autograph memorabilia. Runner up will also get a little something, a little mini helmet with an autograph. Not from me, from like a NFL, like a New York Jet great from the past or present. I'm not going to be the one autographing it and giving it to you. I don't think y'all care about that or want my autograph. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys for today. Yeah, it's exciting. It's only day 2, but I'm pumped. Y'all should be too. Go Jets. Till next time.